after you finish putting Retropie on the micro SD card right here, you just stick it in the bottom, just like that. Just stick it in like that. And just hook up your Raspberry Pi 4 to your monitor, keyboard, and network adapter if you have one. If you have RG45 cable, and hook up your USB-C power connector and your display output, which is a micro HDMI to HDMI port, and that's basically it. Okay, starting up Retropie for the Raspberry Pi 4 single board computer. Okay, now you just have to configure the controls. I'm using a PlayStation 3 USB controller. So I'm going to be configuring that right now. So you just press the PlayStation button. Just hold on to it. It detected it. D-pad up, down, left, right. Start, select A, B, X, Y, left, right, left, right, thumb left, thumb right, analog up, down, left, right, analog right, up, down, left, right. And hotkey, I'm gonna make it well, I accidentally pressed the wrong one. Gonna have to configure the controls again. If you made a mistake, then you can just go back and configure it. Press the PlayStation button, detected it, up, down, left, right, start, select. This time I'm going to press the PlayStation button. Okay, and then press O, the circle. That's it. Okay, press start. Gonna see if I can see the IP address, because mine is hardwired. Okay. And to put ROMs into this, you have to go into a computer. I'm gonna go to my Windows-based computer and type in Retropie. I am at my desktop computer with Windows 10 on it. Just go right here and just go here and type that in and type in Retropie, all caps, Retropie, and then press enter. And now I could put ROMs and BIOSes into my Raspberry Pi computer with Retropie on it. So it's all right there. I could just put in whatever I want. The ROMs right there. And I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to put in some ROMs. Okay, now I got some ROMs for the NES, and I'm gonna put it into the NES folder. It's right there, just like that. And for the SNES, right there, just put it in, and that's it. And it should be on my okay, now I'm back to my Raspberry Pi. I'm going to press start. I'm going to restart my emulator. And you should be able to see the ROMs that I put in for the NES and the SNES as well. Now starting. Okay, so it's showing up the SNES and the NES. So I'm going to run some games and try them out here. The sound works out. Okay, this is Tiger Heli for the Nintendo Entertainment System. And as you can hear, the sound is working. And I'm able to play this Nintendo ROM. And to exit, you have to press the PlayStation button and the triangle button. Press the X button and go here and press the circle, and then you exit. That's how you do it. Simple as that. Now I'm going to run a Super Nintendo ROM, Area 88. Okay, the game's working. As you can see, there shouldn't be any performance issues. If you want to see frame rates, then you have to press the PlayStation button and triangle, press X, go to settings, press circle, and go to on-screen overlays. Display frame rates, and then press X, 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 circle, resume. Now you can see the frame rates for the game. It's about 60 frames per second, and really shouldn't have any problems running this at 60 frames per second. Okay, and I'm going to exit the PlayStation button and the triangle again, X and circle to exit. That's it. That's pretty much That's all you have to do. And for some emulators, you may have to add the BIOS in there to get it to work. I do have videos on how to do that. I will leave that in the video descriptions, or I will leave it in the cards, so you can refer to them and refer to them if you wish to run other emulators like the Dreamcast or the Sony PlayStation emulator and stuff like that. So that's it. So there's something called RAS config. You can go here, make some changes here. You can add a password for your Raspberry Pi if you want, but since I'm using this at home, there's nobody else using it, so this is my home network. But if you have other people living in your house and you don't want them to have access to your Raspberry Pi, you can go here and change the password or add a password. So let's see. To navigate, it's left and right for select and finish on the bottom. Up and down for that. So boot options. And select. Okay, you could change the splash screen here if you want, but I'm not going to do any of that. I don't really care about it. Okay, you can update your Retropie emulator if you want, right there. Wonder what this is. Okay, I don't know what that is. Advanced options. You could change the resolution, do a lot of stuff here. Video output. Okay. You could overclock your Raspberry Pi if you want, but I'm not going to do that. So you could experiment with that, and you have to press the X button. I think that's it. Thanks for watching. By Ace 1000KS 1975 signing out. So start, and then I'm gonna quit and shut down the system. That's it. Today I'm going to show you how to use a USB stick, a USB flash drive to import your games to Retropie. So the first thing we have to do is hopefully you configured your controller and everything. So I'm gonna go into there. I'm gonna press this circle button right there and go to I think it's Retropie setup. Press the circle button again, or the button on the right. Okay, now I'm gonna go. If you haven't updated your Raspberry Pi with Retropie in it, go here and press the circle button and update it. I already updated mine, so I don't have to do it. So go to see your configuration tools and go to USB service 841. Okay, continue. So it's number 1, enable USB ROM service scripts. Okay, so it's enabled USB ROM service. Okay, and then press right on your D-pad and cancel. Then go to back and then press right and go to exit. And now you have to restart, press start and restart. Actually, I'm going to shut down the system. I'm going to go to my Windows-based computer, and I'm going to create a FAT32 USB drive. Okay, so I'm going to do that right now. Okay, now I'm back to my computer. So I have a 64 gigabyte USB flash drive right here. This one right here. And you have to format it into FAT32 in order for it to work on the Raspberry Pi 4 with Retropie. And I'm going to go to Format, and I'm not given the options to format it to FAT32. I'm only given NTFS and exFAT. So if you have a flash drive which is 32 gigabytes or less, then you will be given the option to format it to FAT32, but anything larger than 32 gigabytes you're not going to be able to, so it won't work unless you format it to FAT32. But I already did for this drive, but I'm going to show you how to do it. So what you have to do is you need to go to Google, and there's a website that I went to which showed you how to do that. So how to format USB drives larger than 32 gigabytes with FAT32 on Windows. Okay, that was the problem I was having, so it leads you to this website right here. You go here and you download this. The software is perfectly safe to use, and this is where it's downloaded. So you just run it and make sure you select the right flash drive and not your hard drive or anything. So on my desktop, this is my USB flash drive, so it's J drive. So it's J here, it's 64 gigabytes. I already formatted to FAT32. So you would go here and select the partition that you want, the amount, the volume. So it'll be 65, and then quick format and start. I'm not going to do it again because I already did it. And then it would complete the process, and then you're finished. And then close it. And you go here, and then you just create a folder called Retropie-mount, and that's all you do. And you plug this into your Raspberry Pi 4, and this is a USB 3.0 64 gigabyte stick, so it shouldn't take me very long for it to complete the transfer of files. So next thing after you finish, just go here, eject, and then insert it into your Raspberry Pi 4 with Retropie, and that's it. Okay, I finished creating that 64 gigabyte USB flash drive with FAT32. So now I inserted that into my Raspberry Pi, and I'm gonna start my Raspberry Pi up again with my USB 3.0 64 gigabyte flash drive in my Raspberry Pi. It's booting up, and just by sticking it in the USB drive, everything should go right into the USB drive. So I have 7 Nintendo games in this Raspberry Pi 4 with Retropie. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So these 7 games will be going into my USB flash drive automatically, and it should be done by now. It's not a lot of games. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to press start and quit. So I'm going to shut down the system again, go back to my Windows-based computer, and I'm going to put some games in there. I'm going to check the file system, and I'm going to insert more games in there. So now I'm going to insert the USB flash disk. Okay, and I'm going to see what's in it. So everything that was on the Raspberry Pi with Retropie was transferred. All the files are transferred to this USB drive. I only had NES ROMs in here, and these are the ROMs that I had. So I'm going to put more ROMs in there. I'm going to put these in there. I'm going to go into the Super Nintendo also and put more ROMs in there as well, because it was obviously empty. So now I'm going to eject it and put it back in the Raspberry Pi. Okay, I am going to start my Raspberry Pi again. With the new games in it. The games in from the NES games and the SNES games that I just added into this flash drive. I should just go right in here after I start it up. Okay, good. So we're going to wait. Press the hotkey to start it. So it didn't take very long for the games to transfer here, and these are the exact same games that I just added for the Super Nintendo and the regular Nintendo. Before there was only 7, now there's about there's 1, 2, 3, about 12 games. Now I'm going to start play a game actually. I'm going to play my favorite game, UN Squadron. Whoops. Sorry about that, I hit the camera. So if you have a lot of files, then it's going to take longer for the files to transfer, basically. Since I didn't put that many files in there, it didn't take very long, as you clearly saw. So this thing is kind of like a ROM cartridge or something. I mean the USB stick. It's kind of like that. So you could insert this into any Raspberry Pi with Retropie in it, and configure it the same way by enabling the USB service, and you could basically use this as kind of like a pseudo cartridge or something, putting a lot of games in there, you know. So the flash drive that's in this Raspberry Pi 4 is a 64 gigabyte flash drive, and I mean an SD card, I'm sorry. And the USB flash drive that I used was basically a 64 gigabyte USB 3.0 flash drive. So that is pretty good. You know, I could put a lot of games in it, and also I could use a very small SD micro SD card. I could use, let's say, a 16 gigabyte micro SD card, and those don't cost a lot of money. You could probably buy one for $5 or something, you know, opposed to buying a micro SD card, 64 gigabyte. That would definitely cost more money. That's the advantages of doing this. It's kind of like a cartridge thing, which is good. Okay, now I'm gonna end it. To get out, I created a tutorial about this. It's a hot button and square to get out, and then X again, and then quit Retropie, and that's it. Yeah, all the games that I wanted transferred, which is good. Run one more game. So you really don't even need a network connection if you use this method to transfer games, which is very good, in my opinion. And if you have a USB, I'm sorry, if you have a network connection, you know, if you connected your Raspberry Pi 4 to a RG45 LAN cable, then you could just transfer your files by using the network. But so if you don't, you know, you don't have to. So that's a good thing about this thing. That's why I like it. It's pretty versatile. You know, I don't have to wear out my micro SD card. You know, I could just use the USB card, USB flash drive, which is more durable than the micro SD card, which is meant for like media devices like cameras and stuff, digital cameras, digital video cameras and stuff like that. Okay, I think that's it. Let me get out of here. So hot button, square, X, circle, get out. Okay, that's it. So now I'm going to turn this off. Start. Quit. So shut down system. Yes, that's it. Now it's done. Okay, thanks for watching. By Ace 1000KS 1975 signing out. I'm going to put in my USB hard drive and put all the BIOS files into my Retropie folder. So this is my USB hard drive. I'm going to open this folder, go to Retropie, go to BIOS. This is the PlayStation 1 BIOS files. I've already extracted it and put it into this folder. I actually put it into this folder already, but I'm gonna show you. I already put it in there, so it's just going to tell me that do you want to overwrite all the files that you have in there. I'm not gonna do it, I'm just gonna skip through it. So those are all the BIOS files for the PlayStation 1. So it's in the home Retropie BIOS. That's where the BIOS files are. And as for the ROMs, so I'm going to put the game that I extracted earlier into the ROMs folder. So that game was Metal Gear Solid. Go to I'm gonna start again. So it's Retropie, ROMs, PlayStation X, and I made a folder called Metal Gear Solid, and I just dumped in all the files. So I'm just gonna skip. I don't want to overwrite a file I already have in there. I don't want to overwrite it. Okay, just wait until that finishes copying. So all my ROM files are in there. So I like to create folders and then put the files in there like that. But some people just put all the files, all the ROM files, just into the PSX folder. But I don't like to do that. I like to have separate files. That's just me. I'm going to start Emulation Station. I created a batch file for it right here, so I could just run it. But if you don't have it, just type in Emulation Station. You can start Retropie. And the PlayStation emulator should just work. So if you have the BIOS files in the right folders, then the games would just run more smoothly. Try that again. This is the original Metal Gear for the PlayStation 1 video game console, basically. me get the frame rates. So it's running at about 58.3 frames per second, 60.29 frames per second, about 60 frames per second. Sound's working and everything. So as you can see, it's running very well. The PlayStation emulator is running pretty good. Not slowing down or anything. This is how the game looked like on the original PlayStation. Yeah, as you can see, it ran. No problems at all. So I'm going to try to run another game. So to get back, you press B. And I'm going to select this game. Try this out. Metal Slug. So if you didn't put the BIOS files for this game, then the sound wouldn't work. The game does run, but the sound doesn't work. But here you can hear the sound and everything. Everything's working. Another thing, if you want to use the analog joystick here, you press that special key and the triangle button. And go to controls. Press A, and you go here and press right. So I want to move my left analog stick. So it's Retropad with analog stick. So and then X and X, A, resume. Now I can use my analog stick and my D-pad. As you can see, this game is running pretty smoothly at 60 frames per second. It shouldn't require that much anyways. This is just a 2D game using I think this is 16-bit graphics, 16 or 24-bit, I'm not really sure. Neo Geo was a supposed to be a 24-bit gaming console with it actually had a 16-bit processor and an 8-bit processor, and they called it 24-bit, but actually it's using 16-bit graphics. Okay, this ran pretty good. Okay, that's enough. This game runs pretty smoothly. No problem here. Press B again to get out. Let's try Wing Commander. I actually had this game back in 1995. I had this game on the PlayStation 1. Also had it for the PC as well. But I have to say the PC version was a lot better than the PlayStation 1 version. As you can see, it's running at 60 frames per second. There isn't really any, the Raspberry Pi 4 doesn't have any problems running this game at all. Let's see. So this is kind of like the interactive video scene. Really running this thing pretty well. I'm pretty surprised a Raspberry Pi 4 could emulate a PlayStation 1. Alright, let's start. I want to enable the analog joystick. Okay. Definitely easier to play on the PC with the mouse versus playing it on with the control pad. Okay, that runs pretty good. Let's see. Okay, second memory card. The memory card's enabled. Okay, I just wanted to see that. Alright, that's good. I'll exit out of here. Let me get the frame rates. This is the original Resident Evil game that started the Resident Evil franchise. Seems like this game is also running pretty well. Okay. Okay, it runs pretty good. Not bad, not bad. Okay, let me exit out of here. Okay, hello everyone. So today I'm going to show you how to use the mouse for Retropie, and this version of Raspberry Pi that I have is a Raspberry Pi 4 with 2 gigabytes of RAM, and I'm going to run a game like Operation Wolf, which is a light gun game. So I'm going to go here and start it. I already configured it, so I'm going to show you how to configure it. I'm just going to show you that I am indeed using the mouse to play the game. So let me move it to the mouse and move it back. See, I'm using the mouse to play the game.
Operation initiated.
Gonna play the game with the mouse, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. So I'm using the keyboard and mouse to play the game. It's much better with the mouse. I can tell you that. It's much better than using the keyboard, which isn't very good at all. Okay, enough of that. So I'm going to press my controller here to go into the config. So I press this and that select, and that to get to right there. Let me zoom it in better so you can see it. So the way I configured it was like this. And then I have to press this button to get here. Press down, go to config, and then I press number 3. That's the action button. Okay, that's what's there. So I'm gonna have to go to settings first, go to input. So this was set at 5 players, but I just set it at 2 because I'm probably not going to use more than that. And then I press the back button, which is number 2. Go back, go to port 1 binds, and this was set at 0, but I set it at number 2 right there, and that would enable the mouse to work for MAME. And then for 2, I would also put for mouse, I'd put 2 and press press the back button to get back again, of course. Go to configuration file and then save current configuration file. So this will save the settings, as you can see. So now I'm gonna exit out of here, back, and I'm going to quit RetroArch. I'm gonna start another game called Operation Thunderbolt and use the mouse and bind the keys. Okay, the mouse is working again. There's something I don't want here. I'm gonna go back to there. I really don't care about player 2. So I'm going to go back here, go to settings, go to input. Let's go to that, port 2 binds. Let's just put it at 0 because I'm not going to put 2 mice in here anyways. Back, configuration file. Save current config. And now it will always end up with that setting. So in order for me to bind the controls, I have to press the tab key and input for this game, press enter.
Operation initiated. Rescue all hostages.
So I want to select a button for player 1. I'm going to press enter, press the left mouse button, and then button 2, enter again, and then right mouse button, okay, enter, right mouse button. So now I set the controls here, and I want to send the analog controls, kind of like change the sensitivity. I think I want to change the x-axis to maybe 35%. Player 2 I don't care about, so I'm gonna go here, enter, return to game. I'm gonna start.
Operation initiated.
So as you can see, I'm using the mouse right now. I'm not using the keyboard. I'm using the mouse to play the game.
Gather intelligent information.
The rocket isn't working. I'll press tab, go in here. Okay. The right mouse button ain't working. That's weird. Let me try some other. Oh, I screwed up here. Okay, that's not it. So I'm just gonna put. It's my mistake. Player 1 button 2. Okay, escape. Now let's see. Okay, now the rocket works. With the mouse, the game is a lot better. If you're using a trackball or anything, you can also use a trackball by using this method. So let me get out of here. Okay, that worked. So now you could use your mouse, trackpad, or whatever with your Retropie. Okay, let me get out of here. Let me press start and close this down. Shut down system. Oh, as for this thing, I don't know if you can see that or not. This stuff, I just set it so that I could see the stats. Let me show you other settings. You could also change the VRAM limit. I set it at 360. You could set it to whatever. You could set it to as much as, I think, 900 megabytes or something. No, gigabyte. Okay. Set it back to 360. Show frame rate. I'm going to turn it off. And as you can see, all that stuff is gone now. So now I'm going to shut down my Raspberry Pi. Shut down system, yes. And that's how you get the mouse or trackball or anything else to work on your Retropie. Okay, thanks for watching. My Ace 1000 KS 1975 signing out.